So with this Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff trade going down, there's a lot of questions about how well each of them will do. In this video, I'm going to be comparing the differences between them and how it will kind of affect their career with these different teams. Just kind of going through, I am a Rams fan, so I'm going to be honest from what I saw with Jared Goff. I'm not a Goff hater, so I'm just going to be going honestly through what I've seen, and then going through Stafford with what he can do and what Lions fans have really told me he's good at, and it's really excited me, but also taking a look at some of the negatives about Stafford because I want to be fair to both of them and I want to evaluate both of them as best I can. And I want to say right off the bat, if you are a Lions fan and you came in here, first of all, welcome, and let me know how you feel about Jared Goff and how you feel about Matthew Stafford. Because my positive things about Stafford are he's a great leader. He's obviously got a big arm. He's aggressive, which can be good, can be bad. He's got great accuracy and a comeback king. What I mean by comeback king is I think he's the guy that can constantly be putting together some comebacks for the Lions. We saw that in his career a lot, which is going to have some major upside in his career. Now taking a look at some of the downsides for Stafford, I think sometimes he tries to do too much because of that talent that he has. I think that is something that you have to monitor. It's just not trying to do too much all the time because yeah, you got talent, but you got to be careful with that. Sometimes he's a little bit too aggressive when he doesn't need to be, but obviously when you're in the Lions, I don't want to bash you guys or Lions fans or anything like that, but with Matt Patricia, you're constantly having to come back, so I don't see it all on him, and he's not the most mobile QB in the world, and also some people tell me that he is a type of guy who's not the best at the play action, and he could get better at that because he doesn't always sell it the best. So again, taking in what some Lions fans have said and putting it in there, those are my upsides and downsides, and I'm going to elaborate on them more and what I think he can do with the Rams, and then we'll move on to Jared Goff. So I think Matthew Stafford has a lot of upside on this Rams team. I think it's going to fit what he likes to do. Obviously, an amazing passer. He's going to have weapons. He's going to be able to showcase that on this Rams team. I think that he's really going to be known because, honestly, I think you Lions fans, some of them have even followed him over from the Lions to the Rams and are rooting for him, which I think is just really loyal of you guys, and I appreciate you guys for doing that, and I'm sure he does too. I think that him in this scheme is going to work out beautifully because he's an amazing passer. He can fit it in the tightest windows, and again, sometimes being aggressive can help or hurt you, but I take that all day because what we were getting out of Goff in the last couple years with him was not very aggressive, and it was kind of abysmal in my opinion. But yeah, you're getting a guy who fits well. He's got the whole team an upgrade, a very well overall team. It's pretty stacked all around, and the offense, they're just building tools around him. McVay's listening to what he wants, and I think those positives I talked about, being a comeback king, I don't think there's going to be a ton of times where the Rams need to come back or are down by that much because under the Sean McVay era, that really hasn't happened a ton. But when it does, I'm going to be confident because of what Lions fans are telling me about what Matthew Stafford can do and what he's done, and just seeing it firsthand myself with all those comebacks he's made, I think that's just going to be a huge standout thing. I'm going to be a lot more confident than I was with Goff. More on that later. And then having a strong arm QB, I think that's just always exciting if you have a guy who can launch at 70, 80 yards, and then you got some speed guys on the Rams, Tutu Atwell and Deshaun Jackson. That's going to work in our favor. Again, being a little over-aggressive, especially with this offense around you, yeah, it could hurt the team, but I definitely will take the aggressive, and I think it's just going to work out really well with McVay in this scheme. I could go on about Stafford all day. I've already made a ton of videos on him. That's just kind of a brief overview on what I think he's going to do with the Rams and positives and downsides to him. And one more thing about Stafford with the downside, I think he can definitely improve this, but Lions fans have told me that with Stafford, obviously you have that thing where he has to get a little bit better at that play action game, and obviously the Rams do like to use the play action a lot. I think that can be easily fixed, and I think with more practice at it and more consistency with the Rams, it's going to get better. Now, getting into some upsides and downsides about Goff. I think Goff's upsides are that he can definitely win games. He's proven this in his career before. He's won games. He's gone to a Super Bowl. Obviously, that Super Bowl did not go our way, but he's been at every high game in the playoffs. He's been in a wild card with 9 fingers. He's been in a championship game, and he has been in the Super Bowl. That's going to help extremely for your team, and I think Jared Goff's play action game is definitely really good. He's one of the best in the NFL, I think, when it comes to that play action game. He can really sell it, and I think that is definitely going to help your Lions in the long term, because I think the Lions are building a culture that will want to run the football, and they will use some play action, but with that heavy dose of running game and then Goff being able to sell that play action, that's just going to help you in the long term. And then I think he is a guy who, he has all the potential in the world. He's got the physical traits. He has a big arm too. He can launch it down the field. I think getting some of that confidence back in a new place will help him. And now some downsides about him, knowing about Goff, I think if his confidence, I think this was mainly because of his confidence, but he was not as accurate as he was in years past, in 2017, 2018. The last 2 years, he has not been the most accurate quarterback in the world, in my opinion. He has thrown on screens to D linemen who have, like Javon Kinlaw against the 49ers. He threw it to him. He took it back to the house. I think if you can get that accuracy, that confidence back up, which I do believe can happen, I think that he's going to have success with your Lions. And then another thing I think is consistency, because Goff last year and the last couple of years, along with kind of the Rams over the last couple of years with Goff, just needs to remain consistent. Some games he can be really on, and some games you can tell right off the snap he's going to be having an off game. So I think getting that consistency down is good. The last thing about him that I don't like is the under pressure, like how he handles being under pressure. I think that's not the best thing in the world when you're watching Goff. I know that for me, every time I saw blitz coming or zero coverage or whatever it's called, teams love to do that against the Rams because they knew Goff is not the best under pressure. I think if you can, one thing you notice about Goff is under pressure, sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions or he flat out freezes up. So I think Goff has upside with you guys, and going into the good things and the bad things about him, I think is important about every NFL quarterback doing that. I think with the Lions, he could be actually good with him, and I think I'm one of the only people who think that, because I think with what the Lions are doing by building in the trenches and having a really strong running game, I think they're going to look to the running game more than the passing game as opposed to the Rams, and I think that's going to really benefit Goff. Don't put the game all on him. I think that even Goff, we did not see many comebacks from him, but at the same time, there were not many opportunities to come back because the Rams were that type of team that's never really down by that much. So I think those are some positives and negatives about Goff. I think he can do well in your scheme, which is just the way that they're building that team. And to me, and I think this trade worked out for both teams just because they're going to schemes that will benefit them in their own ways. I think Goff fits better in this Lions scheme that I believe they're doing really well of building for him. And then with Stafford's got all the physical traits. I think he's proven what he can do in the NFL, just not many people have seen it. And I think him with McVay is going to be a good pairing. So I say Lions fans will go for Goff because obviously he's your QB, and he fits of what Dan Campbell is doing with him. But as a Rams fan, I think Stafford is the better quarterback, and I don't know what you Lions fans think about that. But yeah, I think that Stafford is definitely going to do really well with us because it fits him better. Goff is going to do well with the change of scenery. Those are my upsides and downsides in comparing the two. What do you think? Make sure to comment down below, like and subscribe. I post Rams content all the time, and even if you're not a Rams fan, I'd really appreciate if you could do that. All fans are welcome. Have a great day. Horns up. God bless. You guys are the best, and I hope you have